Wrong movie, Stefan.
I was gonna say we are back, but
Yeah.
not quite.
It's thematically irrelevant.
Right. So today, hello everyone. Today we are here to talk about this one. And we're also going to briefly go over the episode finale of Kenobi. I'm very excited to talk about both, but specifically the thing. I've never seen the thing. Today is my first time. Ooh. We'll get into it.
Yes. But real quick, right off the bat, let's talk about Kenobi. Alright, so I want to briefly just touch on my thoughts on the finale. It's kind of my thoughts on the finale or my thoughts on the series as a whole. The finale is kind of split into two different storylines. There's the stuff with Obi-Wan and Vader. There's the stuff with Obi-Wan and Reva. Reva? I don't know.
Yeah.
I loved the stuff with Obi-Wan and Vader. It was... I'm going to say something I don't like because I'm about to criticize other people for saying it. It was kind of what I wanted to see in Revenge of the Sith and the prequels. You know, maybe not like instead, but just like added in there. And it was better directed. Like the performances were amazing. We don't have a picture of the moment from what's it called? We don't have a moment from Kenobi's perspective, but a visual that we've seen before from Rebels is in this final climactic duel. Vader's helmet is cut open. I like how now he's going to have that scar we see in Return of the Jedi right here. It's a nice touch.
Right.
But we see Anakin beneath. This, for me, it did something that I've always had troubles with Star Wars. Darth Vader's my favorite Star Wars character. I'm not too fond of Anakin.
Sure.
I know they're the same person, but I haven't really been able to reconcile that they are not just the same person. It feels like, Anakin just, I guess, became more serious and cooler and all this stuff. This scene, it helped me reconcile the two. Not just because, I'm seeing Hayden's face and I'm hearing his voice, although the layering of his voice in James Earl Jones was great. You saw in him, in this brief moments, little glimpses of Anakin that, I don't like criticizing the prequels, but I guess had they been more focused on or drawn out in the prequels, I would have been able to see, like moments where Vader, or where Anakin, his mom has died. He's broken, he's lost, he's given up. Just where he's at his grave, I'm sorry I couldn't do this. That resignation, you saw that here. But also a bit of pride and anger and hate in it, so much hate, that Vader hate, that I am not your failure, Obi-Wan. Yeah, so I loved everything with that, and I mean, I'm like 10 out of 10, very happy. The stuff with Reva, I liked her, she was shot like a slasher invading the farm. I loved, you treat him as if he's your son. He is my son.
Yeah.
Like, I've always thought that Owen and Beru didn't get the respect they deserved. This episode gave it to them. It should have been its own show. All the stuff with Reva. The idea of an Inquisitor who wants revenge on Vader for killing her friends and wounding her, joins the Inquisitorius, rises up in their ranks to try and take down Vader. That's a great idea for a story. It didn't need to be here.
I agree.
I think it could have been a little better had she died in the last episode rather than staying alive and then trying to do this. It almost felt like they tacked that on just to justify bringing Owen and Beru back.
Yeah. I've heard that the original idea was that she was going to be killed off.
Mm-hmm. There's been rumors. The idea that they changed their mind. Some people are saying, they changed their mind in the rewrites. Some people are saying they changed their mind due to viewer response like a month ago. They wouldn't have time to do all that.
No, yeah. They want to get everyone together to film that final scene. I'd probably rewrite, because the woman's been stabbed twice at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But,
and she's on Tatooine the day after getting a hole the size of a baseball stabbed in her.
Right, and the only person who actually has died is season later.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about that.
Yeah.
But I agree with what you're saying. because I've had rewrites of Revenge of the Sith even as a kid in my head. I love Revenge of the Sith. For me, if there's essential viewing for Star Wars, for me, I try to cut a lot of these huge franchises down to, okay, what's the essential part?
Right.
I usually go, and I'm pretty sure I heard this idea from you, I don't know if it's your idea specifically, it's like you want A New Hope, Empire, go back and watch Sith, and then watch Return of the Jedi. Like that. And I think of the original, so to speak, that's the way I would do it, and that's the way I would do it. I plan on doing it with
Right.
But there was this idea in my head that for Revenge of the Sith, if Vader, when he fights Jedi, he slowly, they chop off bits, but he keeps fighting, he keeps replacing them. Kind of like General Grievous.
Yeah.
And he faces Obi-Wan, and he basically has a Bane mask on his face, and we hear James Earl Jones' voice. He barely sees Anakin in that, and that's kind of what they did here, where it doesn't matter how much damage he takes, he keeps on going, and he keeps on being relentless because he was killing machines, not quite the man. The thing that I'm still processing a little bit is the idea that Obi-Wan beats him, essentially, again, but this time, he spares him again, and I'm just thinking, in my mind, I knew there was going to be the rematch, and highlighted, because they talked about a lot. I thought that something would, and this is a trick they do in the film, where something would distract or take away from the fight so that one of them had to retreat, or something happened.
Or physically separate them, like in Force Awakens.
Yeah. So I'm just wondering, it was a great moment. I'm just wondering, how did you, this time you've seen him murder children twice. What will get you to end this now? And is it that he sees good in him? I don't know. That's something I'm still processing, because I think there is the potential there where, like, it seemed kind of nice, but it's also pretty. I'm not your favorite. So that first
it feels like he's trying to brag, like, look how cool I am, unwittingly giving Kenobi the closure he needed.
Yeah. And that probably is what it is. But overall, I like the series. It's probably B minus overall for me. The Reva stuff, a lot of people, I was more on Jed's side of thinking that it's like, let's wait and see, let's find out if this is really going to be an issue and take away from the show. I feel like it took away from the show.
But it didn't add as much as it deserved, considering how much screen time it had.
Agreed. And I really liked the image of Vader with the mask. Shot. Because I feel like this was better than Clone Wars. Because I'm actually...
Rebels?
Yeah, that one. Yeah. Rebels. Because I've seen these two actors interact before. This is sort of the closure to their story together.
Yeah.
Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen. Which is animated characters.
Right.
Talking sort of this side, my opinion, side canon.
Right.
So this was better done.
I will say, I've seen a lot of people complaining that Hayden Christensen wasn't utilized enough in the show. Why bring him back if he's only there for a flashback and one or two glimpses in a bacta tank? I would say this scene alone, if this was the only time you saw and heard him, it would totally be justified. Not just because of how powerful it was, but because it's crucial that you see his face. It can't just be anyone's face. It has to be Hayden Christensen's eye. It has to be his voice.
Yeah, and they managed to make it work in such a way that it, I would say, worked sometimes and not so much. Other times with Hayden Christensen and his performance and everything. There's some times where I'm like, I really buy Vader, and then other times we quote because we laugh. This isn't something we would laugh at.
No, but this is something I have quoted quite a bit in the last few days. I can't stop thinking about this scene.
You definitely would quote it, but you're not. It's not. I don't like Sandor. Then you're my enemy or whatever.
Right.
It's and the blending with, because it's something that's unappreciated about Hayden Christensen. His cadence, the pattern in which he speaks, he mirrored that straight off of James Earl Jones, which is why he comes off as awkward, because he doesn't have that demanding voice
that
he has. But when you blend it together like that, you kind of see, okay, yeah, this
Mhm.
guy actually did his homework and he's
Mhm.
doing his best.
Yeah.
And it really works when you see it together.
And my favorite bit is that pause he gives, where it's like, "You did not kill Anakin Skywalker," and then
Right?
you see this faintest smile just over the bit of lip you can see. I did.
Yeah, he's crazy. He's out of his mind.
Yeah, and you is like, I'm no longer in the camp where like, okay, Ben, you should have told Luke. Oh, by the way, your dad. This isn't just like, oh, Darth Vader killed your father. No, this is, as far as Ben is concerned, Darth Vader did kill Anakin.
Yeah, and it's always that interesting dilemma because it's like he had the opportunity to kill him technically at this point twice and still didn't.
Yeah, he couldn't bring himself to do it.
But he tells Luke to face him. And Luke says, "I won't kill him."
And the Emperor has already won.
Yeah, it's. I was talking to Brendan about this, and it's like, what does it mean to face him? You know, because he faced him twice and he couldn't kill him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I think it adds some layers to Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Another thing, the relationship with Leia.
Yeah.
They gave some closure to that because I felt like they could have ended the whole thing with Leia a long time ago, like episode 4 or 5. They could have said, "Okay, we send her back to Alderaan."
Yeah.
But they ended it nicely here, where it was like, "Hey, if you need help, you know, let me know, but don't let the whole world know because."
Right.
And there's a justification in this story because Bail was basically spilling the beans on everything.
Yeah.
In a clumsily given hologram message. So that
I now buy Leia naming her son Ben, which before I'm just like, I mean,
he's a nice guy, but why?
It made more sense in Legends where Luke named his son Ben, but now with her, I totally buy it. I've seen some people saying, well, why didn't she react when he died this time? She also didn't react when her planet blew up, including her parents. So
right, and that's something I've always enjoyed pointing out.
Yeah,
to Leia fans, just
it's dumb, but it's at least consistent with what we've seen.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I was like, I've always loved the girl who's playing Leia. She's perfect. But I'm just like, okay, I'm buying this. I'm not sure how much I like the idea of, okay, we're going to spend so much of this show about Obi-Wan and Leia, when in my mind, oh, it's the Obi-Wan and Vader, even though I didn't like that. I'll touch that in a second. But for me, at the end, it totally worked because he's protecting Luke this whole time, but he's not protecting him. He's just watching him from afar. If someone actually came for Luke, he wouldn't be able to stop them. He's not in the right mindset. He's not, he's not in the right shape. He's not going to be able to do anything.
Yeah.
He's using protecting Luke as an excuse.
For an action.
Yeah. And so when it's like, oh, so you're protecting Luke. This is just important for the same reason. Protect Leia. Go save her. And so because of that, he has to get rid of the excuse, I'm not protecting Luke. He has to actually step up and protect essentially the same person for the same reason. And because of that, it draws him out. Because of the relationship, he's like, okay, I'll step up to the plate. Now I totally buy everything he does afterwards, like killing Maul. It's like, okay, yeah, I will totally do anything to protect this kid because I'm not doing it because I'm afraid. I'm doing it because he is our last hope.
Yeah, I really like the overall story. And people, again, people, calm down. It's okay. It'll be all right. Breathe.
I don't know. I can't handle it.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. We've had this sort of storytelling done before. What I really find uplifting is that you can find yourself in a place where you're not yourself. You can go to that dark place. It's okay. It's okay for people to not be who they were. But it's also okay for them to eventually rise up and become that person that we know them to be. Like everyone's like, why isn't he saying hello there? Why isn't he getting like
Yeah.
He gets back there, eventually. I gotta say, I love that final question. It's the perfect marriage of the old suit and the new suit. But anyway, it's just nice, and I think that Rochelle said it right when she's like, we will have that Logan moment. The beginning of Logan, he's not quite himself.
Yeah.
It's basically the same story. Little girl comes into his life.
Yeah.
It's Shane. and he goes back into the action, and he becomes the Wolverine again. So Obi-Wan becomes Kenobi again. And it was nice to see that. It was nice to see it end with a hopeful, optimistic note, and to see him as he was, but I would argue better because Al Guinness's version of the character was very well centered, knew who he was, knew what he needed to do,
Yeah.
and would push forward because he's not the character that needs the arc anymore. He's the character that needs the mentor to lead the main character through the arc.
Yeah.
And speaking of mentors, we had
two mentors in this episode.
Yes, we did. First mentor comes in the form of Qui-Gon Jinn. Now, what do you think of Liam Neeson's return?
I didn't like it.
Too short, or?
It not enough done. I mean,
Yeah.
okay, first off, a side note, it doesn't really matter, but I just got to get it out there. His wig and beard look terrible. Not as bad as Luke in Rise of Skywalker, but pretty bad.
Right, the beard's
Yeah.
specifically got to be,
But it is what it is. I can get over that. But when so much of this is, it's like, hey, I'm trying to overcome this trauma. I know I have to train, but I can't do it, even though I'm trying all this stuff. And then at the very end, okay, all this is resolved, and all it is just,
hey,
how's it going? We got work to do.
Yeah.
I feel like you still could have ended with him and still said, like, you know, hey, here's a meaningful interaction between the two of us. Let's show off our acting chops. Let's demonstrate the growth that he's had. You know, Obi-Wan is now much more like Qui-Gon when he left him. But instead it's just, oh, thanks for the paycheck. Bye.
Yeah, what would have been awesome is if he said, what are you talking, you know, he's like, why weren't you there? He's like, and it's kind of the Christ answer, which is, I was with you the whole time. Then it shows a flashback of every instance where it shows he was protecting and looking out for.
That would have been great, yeah.
And the final scene, because I was pretty impressed with Obi-Wan's telekinesis.
Yeah, that was a bit Force Unleashed. I didn't love that, but yeah.
Yeah, so
that could have made it justifiable.
Yeah, and he's like, I was with you. I was helping you to bring Vader to his knees and everything, so that you could get back to protecting the boy and doing what you're supposed to. That for me, I was like, I thought he was gonna say something like that, but no, he just, hello, I'm here. All right, I'm gone.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can't say that I love that either.
I'm not gonna lie. I was actually, we'll talk about the other appearance of the mentor. The one that I thought would be total fan service, for me, ended up being the far better one.
Yeah.
I mean, not just because...
Good old Sheev.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Palpatine, and I love that the makeup is closer to the Return of the Jedi look, because this is closer to Return of the Jedi than Revenge of the Sith. But
right.
It explained why Vader didn't keep looking for him. Why he didn't. It's just like, oh, okay, I'm totally cowed. I am broken. I am bent. I cannot do anything if my master doesn't want me to. He's so broken inside, broken like a horse. You know, he has no will of his own if his master says otherwise. It's a great thing they pulled from the Vader comics, how Palpatine will passive aggressively or even sometimes just aggressively control him just through little barbs of like, oh man, Anakin Skywalker sure was a little punk. I'm glad you're not the sort of person who would, you know, just give into his emotions all the time and go chase Kenobi across the galaxy, right? Yeah, you're right.
That's right, that's who I am. You know, and it's true, he's just like, oh, perhaps you become obsessed with Kenobi. And he's like,
nope.
No, I do whatever you say, Master. And it's like, holy cow, the control, the manipulation. It definitely, I won't say probably, it definitely was the better of the two mentor cameos, which is, part of it that is a shame because we build up Qui-Gon for so long, and come on,
yeah.
And that's it. Like, okay, I didn't even ask for Sheev, and he delivered it, you know? So.
Yeah. Okay, I feel I have other thoughts, but at this point it just starts to get redundant, so I'm going to echo what Stefan said. It's not a perfect show, but overall, yeah, I'd give it a B minus, with some A+ moments, but overall, B minus.
A+ moments. Do you think there's going to be a revision?
Oh gosh, I think if there is, or if there was,
Yeah.
it is now taken the route of the Ryan Johnson thing, or the Ryan Johnson trilogy, where we're working on that. Trust us. Just check in on another 10 years. We'll make progress. I swear.
It's
like they're never going. I mean, they never officially announced it, but we're never going to hear that it was officially canceled or anything. They're just quietly sweep it away, and then if anyone asks, like, oh, we very much are looking forward to exploring other characters in the future, including Reba. Who knows what stories could hold?
Yeah. They might be sweeping this one under the carpet.
Which is a shame, because if she had her own show to start with, it could have been a great show.
Right. And what would be interesting is if you married the two and you said Ryan Johnson do a Reba trilogy or something.
Oh man, that would drive the internet insane.
That would be the perfect Disney. If you have any trolling, that's the way to do it.
Yeah, it is. So. Well, that or have him direct an episode of The Mandalorian.
Yes, or even better, a season.
Oh gosh! Wow. Okay, so yeah, we liked it. We have some gripes, but overall, we're happy, we're satisfied, and we're ready to move on.
Right.
All right. So before we talk about the thing, you know the thing, we want to let everyone know, just as a reminder, we are broadcasting live every Saturday, roughly at 7:30. Except for this time, we're doing pre-recorded because we have other events that we're going to be attending to. But in the meantime, Saturdays live on YouTube, 7:30-ish, and then uploading audio on Monday morning. All right. With that out of the way, let's talk about The Thing.
Oh yes, The Thing. So I've seen bits and pieces of The Thing.
It's hard not to when you're interested in filmmaking.
Right. And I was always like, in the scene, oh yeah, that's pretty impressive special effects. But seeing it all play out, it was way different. It's like, this is pretty dang convincing special effects, which makes me astounded that when they made their 2011 prequel, that they would CG over the effects because they're like, oh, we don't want them to think it's a cheesy 80s. And I was like, there's nothing cheesy about this.
Yeah, if they had waited 5 years, I mean, whatever cheesy 80s thing they were worried about, if that had been the case, it would have gone over great. But, yeah, there's no cheesy 80ness to this. This is horrifying, it's timeless, it's wonderful.
Yeah, this may be the best horror film I've seen in a long time, or possibly ever. This is a very, very good horror film. And you know you've got a good horror film, one, John Carpenter is directing it.
Right.
Two, if you're going to see the monster, you're going to be horrified by it. And three, if it's trim. Like this is a trim film that doesn't waste a
just
second.
barely over 90 minutes. I think it's 109.
Yeah. It goes like, let's start off with Kurt Russell's character. In this film, we establish everything we needed to know about the character within 90 seconds. He's playing chess,
on a computer.
A strategy game.
Against a robot.
And, against something that's not human. And he loses, and so he's like, well, I'll just go to extreme lengths to win, and he pours his booze all over the circuits of the computer and fries it. So it's like, okay, we have a man who's strategically minded, he's smart, but he can be outwitted, and when he is outwitted, he
takes extreme measures.
Yeah,
he cheats.
He doesn't like to be outwitted, so it's like, wow. And that pays off later.
So many times.
Very, very good characterization. And, it's the only criticism I have of the film is, and I don't think it's so it's just the alien ship flying down at the very beginning.
Yeah, he didn't want to put it in there. The studio made him.
Yeah, I figured. Because by the middle of the film, or even the beginning of the middle, you see the ship. So
you figure out it's an alien not too long into it.
Right. And why, if you're going to show the alien ship, you might as well say 200,000 AD.
Right. But no, if it opens up with them in this little outpost, and they hear a helicopter and gunshots, and you just see this helicopter with screaming Norwegians shooting at a dog and accidentally shooting them, what the heck is going on? It's a great hook, but showing that it's an alien with the very first frame of the film is like, oh, so they're chasing after an alien.
Yeah. And luckily, I knew that shot was in there. So, and it's also in Predator.
Yeah.
That's just the way they rolled back.
Yeah.
But So it didn't take away from it for me, but
Mm-hmm.
I was annoyed with how it would have taken away from people who initially saw it.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, oh, it's a flying saucer film. It's not a flying saucer film.
No.
This is a paranoid
Mm-hmm.
thriller,
Mm-hmm.
horror thriller.
Yeah. So the first time I saw this movie was in the height of the pandemic. It was in the middle of lockdown. Basically, only times I had left the apartment were to like donate plasma, go shopping, various things, small things like that. Other than that, holed up inside with the same people. And I'm watching this in the middle of the night, and I'm just, I can't trust anyone.
Yeah.
Because it does play on your paranoia, but also in 90 minutes or so, it instantly gives you the sensation of cabin fever. You're stuck. You can't go anywhere, and there's danger. You can't run away from it.
Yeah. And it's similar to Alien, except for I feel Alien is more claustrophobia.
Yeah.
Versus the cabin fever that you're talking about. It's like, we are quarantined here. If you leave, you will, well,
you might die from exposure, but also we might kill you because we think you're trying to escape.
Right. Or the alien will kill you if you stay in a horrific manner where you change your entire body.
Yeah, let's just for a bit of a highlight, let's show you. So when this dog is brought into their camp, it looks like this nice little Siberian Husky. It doesn't seem like it's weird at all. I mean, it acts kind of funny every once in a while, just like it'll stare, but then you see it attack the other dogs and start transforming into all of them at the same time, and it's horrible. It's terrifying. You see some people just like, oh no, the dogs, what's going on? And then Kurt Russell, McCready, he's just like, give me the frickin' gun, give me the frickin' flamethrower. It needs to die.
Yeah.
And you think, okay, it's gone. We're only a half hour into the movie.
Yeah. And it's amazing how many incredible special effects shots it has sprinkled throughout from the beginning to the end, where it's very convincing, very graphic and horrific. What I enjoyed about this film, I haven't read reviews of what Siskel and Ebert thought of it. I'm pretty sure they gave it like 2.5.
Yeah, they weren't thrilled with it.
Just because
most people didn't like it when it released.
Gross and stuff.
They called it like this gruesome bit of like, it's just gore and blood for the sake of gore.
Yeah, and I disagree with that. I feel, I'll give you an example that's gore for the sake of gore. I saw, unfortunately, clips from Peter Jackson's Brain Dead, which is, I think it's still considered the glorious film of all time.
It may be, yeah.
If not, then it's in the top 3.
The Evil Dead remake might give it a run for its money, but maybe. I don't know.
So, and I was surprised Peter Jackson made that film in the first place. Like, really, this is the guy they trusted to direct Lord of the Rings. And he did a great job, obviously.
Yeah.
But it was just glory for the sake. There's this scene where this zombie mother, because they're zombies, her womb literally opens up to engulf her adult son. I saw this and I thought, how gross for the sake of just being gross.
It's shock value.
Shock value, yeah. And it's like, this isn't, it's definitely morbid. It's not scary. It's just gross. Versus this, it's like, it is the horror of body horror, Some things comes into you and changes you and rips you apart and rearranges your cells in such a way.
But every time it does it, it just ups not the ante, like the stress. You're like, I need to get out of here. Every time it gets worse, you are feeling everything these characters are as they're being pushed to the brink of insanity.
Right. And it's not they don't do it to be gross.
No.
But to add to the spectacle, but
it adds atmosphere.
Yeah, to the atmosphere especially, because it's like you said, we gotta get out of here. We gotta find out who this is. We gotta put them down. And I think the most tense scene is the testing the blood scene. Where half the guys are tied up. They poke in the blood with basically a hot piece of copper, and then the blood shoots up. Really great special effect. I was wondering how they were going to do with that, but they pull it off really well. And then the guy who's tied up with them at the end of the thing is transforming, and he grabs a guy, and I'm pretty sure they had a guy in a suit with like a
mannequin or something.
Dummy, yeah. And that scene, I was like, that was the most tense. It was the only scene that I hadn't come across before watching the film. I was like, oh my goodness, this is horrific. This is awful. And this is what perfect if you want to be horror.
Mm.
And it's not just, it is like ghastly to look at.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's not gross for the sake of shock value.
No, not even close. I want to highlight real quick the design work, because it's not just how incredible the transformation effects are, just the design of everything. If I were to tell you, okay, an alien who can transform into anything, its head falls off and uses its tongue to crawl underneath the desk to hide. That already, you can picture in your mind, and you're like, okay, that's gross, but you get it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, it grows legs and extra eyes, and like, let me highlight that again. You'd think, oh, it'd just, scurry out of there and like be this weird hairy thing. No. You see the face and how it transforms into something else, and it runs out of there with one of the all-time great reactions. You see it on YouTube and Twitter all the time of just Kurt Russell turning around in horror as it skitters past him. Oh, you gotta be effing kidding. Because there's no beating this thing.
Mm.
Even if you do kill all of the thing, by the end, when we think they've defeated it, it's just Kurt Russell and Keith David sitting there is like, well, if either of us has any surprises for the other, I don't think we're in good enough shape to do anything about it. Just that even if they did win, they've lost because they can't trust each other anymore, and they're going to die in the cold rather than cooperate to try and work together and survive.
Yeah, and I like that it ended ambiguous. As like if it ends, with humanity dying or something, it's not so great.
Oh no, no stakes.
Or if it ends with, oh well, they survived and were fine, so Swedish guys picked them up.
That takes away a lot of the impact.
Right, but it ending sort of right there.
Mm-hmm.
I did say there's potential for a sequel if they really, really, really wanted.
Right.
You'd have to make it really, 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 really good to justify it.
Yeah.
So I hesitate, at this point to say, oh yeah, let's make a sequel. Those actors are still right. Maybe not. I do like that it's ambiguous. That way you don't feel cheated out of everything they've sacrificed by saying, oh well, they just died and it's for nothing. Or, oh well, they just survived and everything's fine. It's just a little episode in their life.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just glad that it didn't end.
Yeah.
One of those extreme ways.
No, I don't know if it's my favorite John Carpenter movie because I do love Big Trouble in Little China, and I do love the original Halloween, but I do think this is his best crafted film. It's a slow burn, but at no point are you bored. It has taut pacing that you're always on edge, except for when you're absolutely terrified out of your mind. It should be gross on paper, but it's never like, oh my gosh, I can't watch. This is too much. This is just gross. No, it's always building into the horror, and the performances are great. I love Wilford Brimley in this. There's a moment where he says, "I feel fine. I want to come in now." That's taken completely seriously, and that's what makes it so funny in a dark way. Watch it to find out what we're talking about.
Yeah. So as I was watching it, I was like, man, it's kind of a shame that John Carpenter has never gotten a shot at a Jurassic Park film.
Yeah.
Because and not that Steven Spielberg was a slouch by any stretch of the imagination, but when you know the tone of the book specifically, like there's baby-eating dinosaurs, scenes, things like that, he would be able to tackle the effects, or at least his team would.
Yeah.
And he'd be able to attack the characters, making sure that we care about them and the characterizations.
He may have been a good fit for Jurassic Park 3.
Yeah, in that scenario.
Yeah, because it's people trapped on an island. We're looking for someone, but we're also trapped and being stalked by dinosaurs. It's a short movie. It's a simple premise, but so much room for creative death and gore, and just even when there's not horror, just the are we safe? What's going on?
Yeah, kind of keeping people on their toes because they're being stalked. I mean, this guy is the king of stalking movies, right?
Halloween.
That's it. He did Halloween, so he knows he didn't do it well. And he does kind of the same shots where it's like you see it from the point of view of Jason or from the point of view of
Michael.
Yeah.
There's too many slasher villains that are the same.
Too many masks.
Yeah.
They're all tall. Why are they all tall? But he does his point of view shots, and if you you know, that'd be interesting from the point of view of a beast, of a dinosaur,
Yeah.
stalking the people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and especially if they utilize the, I think it's camouflage that's in the book.
Yeah, yeah.
Some of the raptors have.
Mm-hmm.
So that would have been cool, but you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But I still stand by what I say. I think he would, in my opinion, if you want to redo the Jurassic Park, like the miniseries, have John Carpenter helmet, have a variety of directors, but he's kind of overseeing. I think that would be really cool and make it based more on the books.
Yeah, certainly would have been better than the most recent Jurassic World movie. I don't know if you've seen it, but oh my gosh, I will. Maybe I'll talk about it some other time, but not a fan.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But overall, The Thing, excellent horror film, excellent special effects. Some of the easily, probably the best practical effects I've seen so far.
Right. There's some great ones in the next movie we'll be talking about next week. But in the meantime, it's you know, I was talking with someone the other day, and it's like I like a lot of movies. I mean, I love a lot of movies coming out recently. Like we haven't talked about it, but Top Gun Maverick is one of my favorite movies of the year, and in many ways, it is harkening back to this older style of filmmaking. But that being said, I still walk out of watching movies like this. Man, they just don't make them like they used to.
Right? Yeah. It's just another thing I wanted to note that somebody else noted is that these actors, they're real people. They hired guys who look like guys you would see at a facility like this.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't a whole bunch. It wasn't a beauty competition. They didn't have a whole bunch of beautiful women or a whole bunch of beautiful men sitting around, you know, in a tanning booth.
And even Kurt Russell, you know, the movie star Kurt Russell, he's got a beard that's not like perfectly trimmed like Obi-Wan. It's just like, we'll pull up a picture of it again. It's just, I don't know, I ain't shaved in 6 months.
He looks like a mountain man.
Yeah.
And mountain men can be very handsome underneath, but you wouldn't know because they've got this woods of hair on their face. So when I say wood, I mean woods.
Yeah.
I should have said that. Forgive me.
Yes.
But and they all behave like real people would for the most part. Obviously, you have the dumb ones, but Kurt Russell is a very, as Jed pointed out as we were watching it, he's a very competent horror protagonist. He makes sure that he took out the Thing at least 5 times in his movies.
Yeah.
He's competent, he's a good leader, and I think he's a great character. So I'd be sad if he died, but if it was for something, then great.
Yeah.
But we'll leave it up to the imagination.
Right.
Kind of prefer that.
All right. So we forgot to do this when we watched Poltergeist, and we did it last week, but you weren't here. But as we're going through this, you know, this wonderful 40th anniversary month of June 1982, we want to try and rank these movies. So, knowing that I love all of these movies to death, currently, out of the 4 we've seen, my favorite is E.T., followed closely by The Thing. Then, Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, and Poltergeist. Stefan, what about you?
Similar, though. I've only seen E.T. twice in my life.
Sure, and it's been a while since the last time.
Yeah, so I'm going to leave E.T. out of it and just say
Okay,
I really like The Thing. And I was pleased by Wrath of Khan, and I always enjoy Poltergeist. But now that I've seen the effects of The Thing, I'm like, these are really good special effects. You did a good job, Poltergeist, but these are really good.
Yeah, this is...
Like, if it's like your younger sibling has a science fair competition and they do the volcano, and then your older brother just does something else that
builds a mini nuclear reactor.
He just blows everyone's mind. That's kind of what it is. It's like,
good job on the volcano,
I love
kid.
The volcano, you know, you did a great job. It looks, you know, I like the details you put into it. Great, but this is a mini nuclear reactor. So, you know, no shame on Poltergeist, but The Thing is like gold standard for practical effects.
Yeah, the original Poltergeist is still definitely in my top 10 favorite horror movies ever, but this is towards the top of that list.
Right. This is getting to the top tier part of that list.
All right. You have anything else you want to touch on with The Thing?
I also like that this was back in the day when you didn't have to worry about politics and stuff. So that's nice.
Yeah.
There doesn't have to even.
I mean,
in the
you
horror.
easily could have put in like a Red Scare metaphor or something like one of us is a commie, but no, you didn't need to.
Right, or an environmental message.
Sure.
Or you could have put a number of things in some ways.
Mm-hmm.
No, this is about mankind's ingenuity and whether or not we will survive the
Which
thing.
is a timeless message.
Yeah, and it's and the fact that it's ambiguous is kind of like us. Will we survive the test of time? Will we be able to cooperate? Will we be able to weed out the evil?
Mm-hmm.
It's like time will tell. The fires of destruction are still burning.
Yeah.
So as long as we have that light,
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't sound so good, but that's kind of about it.
Yeah.
Good movie, recommend. If you don't like watching horror films or you don't like language,
It is available on VidAngel. That's how we watched
that's how
it.
I watched it. I don't think I edited out any of the graphic stuff, just the language.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I didn't. I mean, it was gross, but that's what.
No. Yeah, like this is not something that I just like. Oh yeah, sure. Just take out the language and then show this to your 5-year-old. No.
Right, no,
But
no,
like
no.
I don't know, maybe like 15, 16, 17. It's gonna be a lot, but I mean, it's the thing.
Right. So it lives up to its reputation.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Highly recommend.
All right. Well, next week we'll leave you with a hint for what we're covering. It's personally, I think it needs a bit of enhancement, and well, we will have seen things you wouldn't believe. So we'll, in the meantime, we'll leave you with just letting you know where to follow us. You can follow us at anchor.fm. Please support us. It helps us to continue the work that we're doing here. You can also find us on Twitter at @ofcinematics and also at Instagram. I don't know. That Robert handles that side. I don't know. But we look forward to seeing you again next week and finishing out our June 1982 retrospective. So in the meantime, see you later.